Kim Taro has started his world trip by electric bicycle using solar energy since 2009 in order to promote the use of green energy to protect the environment. Until now, he has traveled 25,000 kilometers through 32 countries in the world. His trip was featured in local TVs and magazines in the places he has been to. After his long journeys, he has chosen Vietnam as a place to settle down.
Hello, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam only on NetViet VTC10. I'm Jasmine. Our guest for today has traveled around the world on his electric bicycle. Let's meet with this interesting person, Kim Taro.
Hi.
Nice to meet you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did your passion for cycling begin, and why did you decide to bike around the world in the first place?
Well, I'm from Barcelona, from Spain, and for different circumstances I ended up working in Beijing in China. And when I arrived, I discovered electric bicycles. I saw many people going by bicycle. So I thought it was a very good means of transport because it doesn't pollute and it brings you everywhere. So it just happens that one day I wake up in the morning and I got this idea. I say, I'm going to go around the world and promote electric bicycles or electric vehicles. Can be electric motorbike, electric bikes or electric cars for environmental reasons, because I do think that they can do a lot of benefit for the environment.
How did you end up in Vietnam?
Well, the first time I passed through Vietnam cycling with my bicycle, because I started this project alone. I come here and they interviewed me for BTV Sao. I was a journalist like you, another one. And it happens that I fall in love. I was here for 3 weeks, but well, I had to keep going, to keep cycling. So I keep cycling Southeast Asia and then Australia, New Zealand. But well, we keep in contact and things seem to be going ahead.
Okay.
Then it just happens that, well, I was in New Zealand, so we keep in contact, and then I decide that, I couldn't keep going around the world without knowing if what had happened while I was in Hanoi it was true or if it will go ahead or not. So I decided to come back to Vietnam. We became a couple.
Her name is Thuy Anh, and so they got married, and from then on, Kim had a friend on the road with him. 5 months later, Kim and Thuy Anh were on the way cycling from Vietnam to Spain in a project called Electric Mile for a Greener Planet. They went through many countries, including Laos, China, India, and finally reached Europe.
Nơi tôi đang đứng đây có độ cao 1990 m so với mực nước biển. Từ đây đến thủ đô Viêng Chăn còn khoảng hơn 200 cây số nữa. Tuy nhiên hôm nay thì chúng tôi sẽ đi xuống dốc. Hy vọng là mọi chuyện sẽ dễ dàng với chúng tôi.
We pedal and pedal, now in a small road, now on the highway. So sometimes we have some teamwork to get some fresh water, and also we had some hugs full of love to solve our grumpy moments.
Did you face any obstacle or any difficulties like on the road?
People think that when you go around the world you see beautiful scenery and beautiful things, but yeah, sometimes. But the majority of times the world is ugly. It's industrial and it's gray and it's a road full of cars and it's not very pleasant. But the most amazing thing on the planet are the people. People are amazing in every country, and that's what it really makes you to keep going, because you're meeting people all the time which are absolutely amazing.
And I heard that you also cycle around Vietnam as well. So can you tell us about your trip, around Vietnam from north to south? Which location do you enjoy the most?
Which location I enjoyed the most? Well, when I get through the border, for me it was a bit shocking because I spent 3 years before in China, and it was the first time in Vietnam. And it was very surprising for me that people sell bread on the street, on the roads, and you have coffee, and the beer is cold, which you don't have in China. And also the scenery, it was really, really nice, and people were very, very friendly. And that, for me, when I crossed from the north, was a very spectacular thing to happen. But then it happens that I was here, I think it was in the first time in October or yeah. So I get some rainy period in central Vietnam. So it takes me 12 days from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh, but I was always under the rain, which was not very pleasant because it was a bit difficult. But now I've been cycling in places like Yen Hoa and Nguyen Quang, and that's, yeah, there's awesome. Vietnam is a beautiful place for cycling. There's beautiful scenery.
Yeah, and the traffic is not that fast in Vietnam either.
No, it goes very slow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now I'm living in Hanoi. Hanoi is one of the most safest countries in the cities in the world for cycling, because here, all of you have been on a bicycle when you were kids to go to school. So all of you, you know how it is to go by bicycle. So all Vietnamese, when they are driving, even if they go a little bit fast, they always see you. They always know where you are, you know. And then they might pass very close, but they know that you're there. In other countries, people are not used to bicycles. And then what happens is that they go fast and they don't expect that you can be there cycling, and that's when you got an accident. Okay. But here, if you go by your own, well.
Yeah, and I believe that your tendency and your courage to bike around in an electric bicycle has inspired other people to bike as well. And talking about electric bicycle, I think that we saw a lot of electric bicycle on the street a couple of years ago, but not so many now. So do you know why?
What I guess it happens also is that the first bicycles that arrived here, electric bicycles, they were the Chinese ones, the old ones, that they were using a very poor system. So the batteries, they didn't last for many kilometers. And then people complain because you get the bicycle and you cycle maybe 2 months, and after that, the battery is not good. But now the technology changed a lot. I use the same batteries during 3 years. And my batteries, they can do 90 kilometers in one charge. So,
wow, that's amazing. Maybe you should promote it more, because I don't think that people pay that much attention to electric bicycle now.
In their trip, Kim and Thuyen got featured in local magazines from the places that they went through. Kim also found his long-lost relatives through an article featuring his journey on a newspaper. Thuyen got pregnant on the way, so after reaching Spain, the 4 of them, including Kim's relatives, got back to Vietnam. There, they opened a biking community called the Hanoi Bicycle Club, where they sell, rent bikes and organize biking events for the community. Kim also fixes bikes for free in the afternoon. After their THBC cafe, they also organize many different activities such as yoga and music in order to promote a healthy and environmental-friendly lifestyle.
So how has it changed your life, or the whole thing?
It changed also more on the sense of to know that you're doing something good every day, you know. Besides, you're trying to be good with your wife, with your kids, with your friends. That when you're cycling, you know, you're doing something good for the society at the same time and for the planet. And that's something that it really inspires also yourself, because you know that you're making something really good. And that's good. And what it happens also is that I was 3 years on the road, and I was never ill, even for one day. I was not even sick for one day, because I think, you know, cycling is a very good exercise. And also when you're cycling around the world, you can get sick because you're not at your home, you know. And if you get sick in India, you don't know where to go, you don't know where's the hospital, you cannot speak the language. So you make yourself, I would say, stronger by cycling. But most important for me is that, you know, when you're cycling, for example, here in Hanoi, everybody by motorbike, and you're cycling, and okay, you know, you guys are by motorbike, you're polluting, but I'm doing something good, you know, for myself, because I'm doing exercise, but for my community, which is important.
Yeah, actually, when you say that, I think it makes complete sense. And, you know, like we or I never thought about that effects before. So maybe you can spread the word to more people after this show.
I think things has to be said. Because if you don't say it, people sometimes, people are busy.
Yeah.
And here in Vietnam or in Hanoi, everybody has a motorbike. So when you are young and you finish your university or something, you buy a motorbike because everybody has a motorbike, and you want to be like everyone else. But if we look at what happens in other countries, for example, in my country, a few years ago, everybody goes buy a motorbike, buy cars, very fancy cars. You have to have a car better than your neighbor. But now, after a few years, people realize that it doesn't make sense. Because what it makes sense is that maybe you save your money a little bit and then you can travel or you can take care of your health or something. But at the same time, you're using a mean of transport that is good for you and for the others.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's not easy. It's not the same, obviously, to go by motorbike than by a push bike. If you're fit, go by push bike. But if you're not fit enough, or if you go with high heels, and very nice dress, you'll say, I don't want to sweat. I don't want to get tired. Get an electric bicycle. You can go with high heels and a nice dress and on an electric bicycle, and you will not sweat. And you will not
I think about that possibility.
Give it a try. But yeah, the first thing is that I never seen any other product ever that to whoever you give it to try, 100% of them, it asks you how much it costs, where can I buy one? Because they always, feel amazed. The first reaction of anyone who jumps on this kind of electric bicycles, the pedal assist electric bicycles, is that people can stop loathing and shouting, but for happiness, because they feel like Superman. They cycle and wow, they get the motor.
And talking about the people who you have inspired to cycle with you, do you know like the scope of your influence to other people to cycle?
But there's some particular people that you see that you made really specific change, because I met people who were, for example, handicapped, and they were not on a wheelchair, but they have difficulties to walk. And when you give them a tricycle, not a bicycle, but you give them a tricycle with electric power, that opens, a completely different world for them, because they can cycle, but they get the extra power that they maybe don't have in their legs. And that, it gives them the freedom to then move again. And when you see something like that, it's really nice. But I was cycling with a bicycle and a solar panel, a trailer with a solar panel, because electric bicycles or electric vehicles can be really good, but if tomorrow all of us will use electric vehicles, we will have another problem, because the majority of the electricity is produced in coal power plants. So we need to use electric vehicles and sustainable energies. And I found that it was very amazing that you met people, especially on the countryside, in Vietnam, in India, in other countries, and the people on the countryside, they are much quicker to understand that with the sun and the solar panel, you can produce energy to charge your battery and go, with a motorized bicycle.
Yeah, that would be the best solution.
But in the cities, people look, they say, oh, it's very beautiful, but they don't make the association. But many people, I think, many people has understand the message, and I hope after today many other people will.
We hope you success with your community and expand it to more and more people. But you know that right now you have a competitor, right? There's a guy walking from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City on foot.
Yeah, no, I mean.
So it's another way of life too.
That's the most effective mean of transport.
Actually, walking is a little bit slower, so I'm not sure how many people would be willing to try that. But for the electric bicycle, for sure. Thank you very much for joining us in the show today.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And that concludes our show for today. Well, if you are thinking of trying an electric bicycle, you might want to consider going to THBC on Tây Hồ Street in Hanoi, or any other bicycle shops in Vietnam. I'm Jasmine. If you have any question, please send an email to us at sharingvietnam@gmail.com. And see you next time.
Cảm ơn biên tập viên Thanh Hằng và anh Kim Van Teruen với cuộc chia sẻ hết sức thú vị vừa rồi. Tiếp theo chương trình, chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với câu chuyện hội nhập của ngày hôm nay cùng với biên tập viên Khánh Long.
Cảm ơn biên tập viên Mai Phương. Thưa quý vị và các bạn, Hiệp định Đối tác Xuyên Thái Bình Dương TPP nếu đàm phán thành công thì sẽ mang đến rất nhiều cơ hội cho ngành dệt may Việt Nam. Tuy nhiên, để khai thác tối đa lợi thế từ TPP, doanh nghiệp ngành dệt may phải sớm chuẩn bị để ứng phó với những thách thức mới. Câu chuyện hội nhập ngày hôm nay sẽ xoay quanh nội dung này.